All right, and we are live with breakdown number 2. What is up, everybody? Aaron the dog back with the second breakdown of the day. I turned around my hat, go from Bellator breakdown with Brandon to the LFA 148 breakdown show. Just going to be me here, live from Commerce City Casino in California. For the final LFA of the year, LFA, the 28th LFA of the year, 28th breakdown here on the channel. We have been cashing hard this entire year on the LFA. Let's continue it here. I won't belabor the point here. We got 6 fights here to cover on the main card. We're starting at the 170 division. Jeffrey Craig, Ernesto Rodriguez here in a very good fight. I've enjoyed what I've seen out of Jeffrey Craig in Cage Warriors as well as with LFA. Good all-around game for him. Insidious 3-0, taking on Starboy out of Extreme Couture, Ernesto Rodriguez, the Cuban fighter. Very well-rounded, 25 years old, 2 straight wins since losing to Richie Lewis with Titan FC. Got knocked out in the second round. Good fight there, back and forth before the finish there. Richie Lewis with Goat Shed. A lot of back and forth before and after that fight. A little bit of an early stoppage. Has a finish of Austin Worms on his record. Austin, we know, has had some upsets of fighters like Jacoby Jones and others. So definitely a legit finish there. Quick finish as well. 2 straight wins. William Gibson in his last fight with Tough Enough. Both those fights over on Fight Pass. You can watch. He's just a well-rounded fighter. Tends to go to the grappling, which is, I think, where Jeffrey Craig can have some trouble. Jeffrey Craig also sometimes keeps those hands a little bit down. We are live. What up, Moise? Yeah, Jeffrey, very, very fun fighter, very confident, still very young in his career, 6 foot tall, 170, 9 straight wins going back to his amateur career as well. The 3 straight wins coming with LFA and then Cage Warriors with Chasen Blair. Chasen did catch him there in the 3rd round and then get him nearly in that guillotine, but Jeffrey showed good withstanding of the punishment afterwards, but keeps those hands down, really is leaving himself open to getting shots taken, and does not like to not as much as comfortable on the ground here. So this fight to me is going to be very, very close. For me, I think Ernesto Rodriguez is going to make it just a little bit dirty and get that decision win. So I've got Ernesto Rodriguez by decision here. I do think it's going to be considered a slight upset. Looking at the odds now, Jeffrey Craig minus 250, plus 200 on Ernesto Rodriguez. So maybe a slight shot on the dog here to start out the card. But should be a good one. I like Jeffrey Craig too. But I think that both these guys are going to come into this very hungry with a lot to prove. Jeffrey Craig will have a pretty good size advantage, which I think could play a factor as well. So buyer beware there. But that's the first fight. Next fight of the night, 125, a guy who I have not made it hidden. I'm a big fan of it. And Cody Davis taking on the Bolivian product in Alvaro Baby Frado here. Cody Davis, just very, very technical. Alvaro likes to make it much more of a kind of a brawl, uses pressure, good leg kicks, and good boxing for Alvaro, but hasn't faced a great level of competition, mostly in Bolivia for the 24-year-old. But 4 straight wins after a loss to Carlos Tardillo by split. Carlos was much bigger and looked to use the grappling quite a bit in that fight. Otherwise, 4 straight wins since then. The Marcos Tyson fight, really good knockout there in that fight. Just moves forward, but hasn't faced a good level of competition in fact, 0-2, 0-0, 3-4, 0-0. Marcus Tyson was 18, by the way, 0-1, 0-0, and now facing the 5-1 Davis here, who is just a much more technical fighter, face a much better level of competition. He is a little bit small at 5'3" and 66-inch reach, coming off that loss to Mark Kilomako. Kilomako really just shined him in that one, and pretty surprising. Other than that, better level of competition that he's faced, albeit not a huge level, but the last couple, Payne Brzezinski, Mark Kilomako, good levels. tends to go to decision, uses his grappling. I think he's going to wrestle the Bolivian here and probably add another decision, possible submission for Cody Davis. Give me Cody Davis in this one. Minus, he should be a pretty big favorite going into this one. I believe is a minus 400 last I checked. Cody Davis is indeed minus 400 plus 300 on the Bolivian Prado here. I just think Davis uses a smart game plan, better level of competition, wins this one. Not much more to say on it than that. Next fight here, our female fight on the card, Diano Barboza taking on the Glover Teixeira trained Mariana Piccolo. Mariana Piccolo is out of Dansbury, Connecticut now. But yeah, neither one of these fighters with a ton of experience, 1-1 versus 3-2. But Piccolo, I'll break down first, hasn't fought since December of last year when she lost to Natalie Gonzaga, an 0-1 fighter by decision, beat Marjorie Brana by a split decision, has a win over Victoria Aquino by decision as an amateur, and has a grappling fight where she got a footlock. So Barboza, much more known for a stand-up fighting. The Brazilian is 30 years old, 5'6", much bigger, 66.5-inch reach. Lost to Jenna Bishop and Josiah Nunes in her last two, got knocked out by Nunes. Had a win over Karina Silva. Very good win on the regional scene as well. Good overall grappling for her as well. So for me, I think Barboza is just much more credentialed, faced a better level of competition. Most likely, the grappling might cancel each other out, and on the feet, I think Barboza has a large advantage as well. So give me Barboza, and Barboza, I'll say a by decision. So not a fight I'm looking to get too involved in from a betting perspective, with Barboza at a minus 275 clip, plus 215 on Piccolo there. Not getting involved too much in that one. Next fight here, really good fight at lightweight. Barboza, Olympian judoka as well. Good call there, Moise. I appreciate that info. But next fight here is at lightweight between two really powerful wrestlers. Richie Miranda has finished all 5 of his opponents so far, taking on James Wilson, 4-1. Had a tough go of it in his last fight around, but still, I'm pretty impressed with what I've seen of James Wilson. King's MMA representative, lost to Hazan Zada in that fight. Hazan Zada just was way more active off the bottom when Wilson would get the takedowns on the feet. He was much better as well. So Wilson was able to get takedowns in the fight, but just wasn't doing much with them and starting to run out of gas as the fight went on. Faced a low level of competition before this. Took that step up, and now going from Hazan Zada to a guy who I think is a better prospect at 155 in Richie El Machete. Miranda, 5-0, all 5 of those finishes. CSW Training Center finished Elijah Harris in the last fight. Devin Dixon, very impressive finish as well. James Lynch with Cage Warriors got the finish. So just is facing a higher level of competition, putting these guys away. First round for 3 of them, second round for 1, and a third round finish as well over Devin Dixon. It's going to be his third fight of 2022, and it's going to be his third finish of 2022. James Wilson's going to struggle in this one for me. I like Richie Miranda, my most confident pick on the card, minus 185. Love the price, plus 155 on James Wilson. Could be a wrestling match, could get close, but for me, Richie Miranda is just better and way more confident right now. So favorite on the card so far. On to the co-main event. We got Danny Silva taking on Kanan Kawaii. The Hawaiian here making his return from pretty embarrassing go about it against Billarino, where Billarino just had that spinning kick to put him away. Kanan has just kind of tripped up at certain points in his career, and it's just has a chance here against Danny Silva, trained by Cub Swanson, really good boxer, keeps a good pressure and a really good pace. And yeah, it just should be a tough one. Kanan's still only 25 years old, good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well. Hasn't fought since November of last year. Was supposed to face Quinn Culpepper back in August. That fight just fell through, and now he's facing Danny Silva. Went over Jake Childers with LFA Ninja Choke 20 seconds in. So it's really hard to say. I mean, since 2018, he's had 2 fights, not an impressive showing against Jonas Bellarino, and struggles on the feet. And Danny Silva, primarily a boxer, really keeps a good pressure, 25 years old, training with Cub Swanson, Elijah Leggett. The last fight out, just kept a good pace, went to decision. Good body shot KO over Johnny Soto in his debut. Showed he could deal with the grappling pretty well, is pretty good as well. To me, Danny Silva is just going to keep a really tough pace here for me. I think that I'm not sure where the confidence Kanan is coming into this one, but still only 25 years old. A few wins here or there, Kanan could have another opportunity. But yeah, I like Danny Silva, and I like him to use his boxing and his pressure and his pace in this one. He is a slight underdog at -105, -125 on Kanan. A little bit surprised there at the odds, but Kanan, has been in there with a good level of competition. So should be a good one, but I believe this is my second dog of the night, and Danny Silva. On to the main event here. I'm sorry that these are a little bit quicker, but with just me here, I don't think it makes sense to really belabor the points. Really, really good main event. I love both these guys. Chris Brown cashed for me very hard against Stolunznik in the last fight there. Harris Stolunznik just got drawn into a Chris Brown fight. That slick movement, unorthodox striking, well-rounded grappling as well. 33 years old, Breezy the future. Future's now Jackson Winklejohn representative, 9-4. He's 5-2 with the LFA. Has a split to Carlos Leal with the PFL. That's aged really well, so he could nearly be 4 straight wins with a split decision against Ignacio Bahamondes. Loss by a close decision to Carrington Banks. Fights everybody really close. Split to Thomas Gifford way back in the day. Slick strikes mostly. That's how he's going to look. The fact that is how he finishes his opponents when it is finished. Had that slam of Glacio Elizario, which definitely, was after a big win for Glacio. Chris Brown, he finds a way to make these fights closer than they should be, finds a way to get these guys to fight the fights that he wants. And Alfonso Leyva, the 2-time Mexican Olympic wrestler, he's not playing those games. But the thing about the sniper is that he's really developed that stand-up game nicely. He looks to me like at 170, reminds me in a lot of ways of Cain Velasquez with how he uses his ground and pound. The Daniel Hayes fight, 2 straight times Daniel Hayes tried to pull guard, which is just not the move to make against wrestler in Leyva. But on the feet, he just makes you want to get out of the boxing range. Really straight, powerful punches. Hadn't faced a great level of competition before Daniel Hayes, who is 8-1. He passed that test with flying colors. I think Leyva stamps his ticket to either Contender Series or the UFC after this with another finish. It's going to be impressive because Chris Brown has not been finished before in his career. So for me, I got Alfonso Leyva to at least use the wrestling and probably use the ground and pound to get the finish, even though really tough guys like Leo and Bahamondes and others. And, Chris Brown, he's undersized a little bit, but he's slick, slick grappling, slick stand-up here. So could give Alfonso some wrinkles he hasn't seen before. But I think Alfonso's a real deal, guys. Alfonso Leyva has my seal of approval. I think he's worthy of cross-fight parlays here. I think he's worthy of the -400 favorite that he is against Chris Brown. I think he's that good. I just think he's going to go in there and just take away all the strengths of Chris Brown. And the real question is, does he get the finish or not? Is he the first guy to finish Chris Brown in his career? And I'm going to say yes. So that's going to do it. Really quick, tidy 15-minute show here. It's the final LFA of the year. I really appreciate everybody who's joined me for these LFA shows. The LFA means a lot to me. I really respect what they do, providing really great fights throughout the year. 28 events, 28 breakdowns here on the channel. So it means a lot to me. Lucky Locks hopefully can make it back in the new year because I know I enjoy breaking these fights down with him. So for Aaron the Dog, no more LFAs for 2022. It pains me to say. So enjoy LFA 148 on Friday night. We got LFA and Bellator Friday, Aries tomorrow night, and UFC on Saturday. So enjoy the fights, everybody. Take care of each other out there. Peace.